The first words in the stream are making me saying "but," aren't they?
Probably. That's how it usually goes.
No, it started with "God damn it," actually.
Oh, that's even a better start to the stream.
I wish I could say that that's atypical, but I listened back to prior episodes trying to reset because I lost some of my notes, and I was re-listening to find out what I had said about certain things in order to be consistent. And a good portion of our streams start off with Locust saying things like "motherfucker" and "this is horrible" and "god damn it." And...
oh.
Maybe we should clip our streams.
Probably.
Just clip Locust. He's an asshole.
But please save the clips. I'll make a compilation out of them later. I just want a compilation of Locust's little, oh shit, oh this is horrible, oh fuck, god damn it. Just as a ringtone.
All of those together sound amazing, actually.
300.
There's one episode where we
God.
No, Locust! No!
365 days of Locust swearing in a high quality.
Can we maybe do that and then I make that my pager noise? Just
I think we're all
Locust going "god damn it" and "fuck" and all these other things. I want that pager sound.
So anyways, about Aderjaeger.
Wait, is that why we're here tonight? I'm sorry, someone misinformed me.
Oh, you're right. No, this is the ringtone podcast. Yeah, carry on.
I'm sorry. Don't want to confuse people. But it's okay. Okay, that didn't pop up the way it's supposed to. Yay!
There is
Technical issues are already starting to back up on us.
Wait, on you?
Yeah, hold on. There we go. Hey, there we go. Got it working. It's okay. No one's watching. No one watches this stuff, so we're safe.
Yeah.
Except for you, dear watcher. Thank you for being here.
I don't think we have anyone watching right now. Thank you, Nightbot.
Thank you, Lockheed, our faithful viewer.
Hey, by the way, just letting you know, Kayla, you now show up as staff.
Yes, I know.
Stream.
Hot diggity damn.
Yes. Yeah, neat.
That's a nice street rep you got there.
That is some serious rep right there.
I got that set up today. That's all I did today.
Well, there you go.
JK, but you know.
Officially, the viewer is this guy named Designated Hero. But I hear he hurt his hip and can't go anywhere anyway. So
right.
It's stuck
yeah, it's stuck.
Anyway, welcome to another exciting episode, a horse accounting episode of Aderjaeger, where the team decides that what they're given is probably not enough to buy what they actually want to buy. But they will survive on the pittance that I give them that are scraps from the adder table. Yeah, it's going to be one of those sessions, folks. Strap in.
I'm just imagining this bourgeois Jay standing at a tall table, flicking scraps to us meager player peasants.
I'm scared now.
Last week, you had defeated a really unusual adder. In fact, you're not entirely sure yet it is an adder, but it has some very distinctive differences from what you fought. First of all, it's a plateless adder. The only thing slightly resembling plates are a series of spines running along the, the backbone or spine of the creature. But these are not... These seem softer, more spongy than typical adder plate. On top of that, one very distinctive feature, the creature has skin, which is almost completely unheard of among adders. It's bleached white, and the skin sort of slouches across its surface like the leather is not quite fully, like the skin is not quite fully attached to the mass beneath it. But it is indeed skin, and more importantly, it's skin that seems to be self-healing, or at least it proved itself such in combat. On top of that, the blood is not typical. It seems to burn in contact with air, and in fact, the body itself, now cut open on one side by explosions caused by crystal... crystal exposure!
Crystal
and a
fucks
cannon
are
shot.
my favorite.
Like I said, strap in, folks. It's been one of those days. leading to now a fairly large pool of burning green fluid sort of spilling out onto the floor. Not violently so, but just pretty much sort of almost like if you had lit a can of Sterno on fire, sort of a low bluish flame that seems to spread out as the pool grows. This is where you all come in.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were...
Yeah.
Well, Jurgen, seeing the creature fall after the thunderous crack of the cannon, is going to call out to the 2 members of the party that he can't see at the moment. Zygmunt, are you all right?
Zygmunt's like crawling up out of this valley. I'm fine. Where's Berthold?
Bertolt?
Bertolt is unconscious, but otherwise all right. Though
Can I
obviously visibly injured.
Can I try to heal his unresponsive body?
You sure can.
While that's happening, Zygmunt's gonna shout out, "Get the porters! We need to collect as much of this as we can."
Elena's gonna pop her head out from behind the cannon and just go, "What?
Get the porters!
What?"
Jurgen's already taking off, running out the cave.
He's
Elena's
really
just
all
looking
healed
around
up.
confused.
Well, that's a good roll.
I healed the unconscious man, but someone else has to drag him out of here.
I mean, that was a good enough heal to maybe bring him back.
Yeah, let's just fucking teleport him into the game.
Well, he's not dead, so
Yeah.
he doesn't, it's not like he's gone.
Yeah, he's not coming back from the dead. He's
But they
just
will heal
AFK.
2 points per night of rest, which means he'll heal back up to full in 3 nights, which is still pretty damn effective as far as healing's concerned.
So Zygmunt, meanwhile, is trying to conceal the fact that he's probably shattered several ribs.
As long as it's not his hip.
Right. Hips are important.
Yes, very important. So Jurgen went to go get the porters?
Jurgen went to go get the porters.
Okay. As you sort of walk outside, most of the caravan guards, the porters, are just kind of sitting around. They've kind of made up camp in what was the cleared central row that was this, mining town's kind of central avenue. Victor, on the other hand, seems to be carrying parts out of the office when he sees you leave. Friend, did you find it?
We slew it!
Oh, what did it look like? Can I see it?
Jurgen sort of...
Is it safe?
I'm actually not entirely sure if it is safe, but he looks to the caravan guards. As long as they keep an eye on you.
Well, I don't imagine I can carry it by myself.
True enough, but we
Unless it's about... And he kind of, mimes a shape of something about the size of, 3 by 3. If it's bigger than that, I don't think you'll have much to worry about, friend.
No, we need to get down there and begin collecting and harvesting the body. And he would kind of wave over as the porters. But no, come with us. I'm sure you would be interested in seeing this unique creature.
Oh, very much. And he kind of puts down the pieces that he was carrying and right next to this cart and walks over towards you, and Storch just kind of hobbles over to where the porters are. So what do you need us to do?
Well, actually, that's a good point. Because they're not, that's right, they're not the collection. Shit, I'm an idiot.
No.
Set up a perimeter. We need to make sure that this mine, nobody and now I've completely killed my brain as I come across that realization. We need to make sure that nobody leaves or enters this mine without our consent. We don't want anybody taking our kill. I'm going to go get the Collector's Guild.
Elena's just sitting there digging her finger into her ear, trying to figure out why she can't hear.
Well, you're in the mine. These guys are up at the top.
I know. She's just sitting there. Well,
Okay.
standing.
Rita's swatting her hand away like, you're gonna push earwax up against your eardrum and then you're gonna go deaf and no one can help you. Stop that.
So Jurgen's leaving, right? Is this what we're coming to? The
Well,
realization?
actually, hang on. We need to have a conversation either out of character or in character before Jurgen leaves. Me and Jay were kind of talking about this, and I brought this up at one point. Who the hell are we going to get to collect this adder? Because we can't do that on our own. We're either going to need to
Did you
get...
not just say the Collections Guild?
Right, I did, but we've never come to a decision of that as a party. That was just kind of my gut reaction. Because we really have two options here. We can do the Collections Guild, in which case we're probably going to get to keep most of the body of the adder, but we're going to have to pay them. Or we could go to the Order of St. Michael, but two things. One, they're going to take the body of the adder. They might pay us for it, and they might try to kill us for it.
Yeah. Let's go with the first option.
That's kind of what I've been leaning towards.
Also, Zygmunt in character, if we want to go like retcon this to say like we had a plan for this, Zygmunt would have staunchly opposed giving basically the competition this very unique adder.
Also worth noting, it's about a day's travel back to Leonberg.
Yeah, okay. Whereas it's a half day's travel to Stuttgart where we can get in contact with the Collections Guild.
Roughly.
Okay. Then yes, I think Jurgen since I didn't hear anybody disagreeing, I think Jurgen is going to go get the Collections Guild.
Okay. So, you are just officially straight up leaving, is what you're saying.
Yes, Jurgen
Okay.
is going to take one of the horses. He's going to kind of look at Adalbert and be like, shouldn't be faster, but shouldn't, and take one of his own horses, and he's going to Stuttgart.
So he's not gonna steal Adalbert. All right.
No. Think
No
about
big
it for a
deal.
second, but no.
All right. You leave. Storch kind of watches you leave in just frustrated disbelief, and then yells at two of the guards to go stand by the only entrance to the mine. Looks at the two of them there, says, "Perimeter done." Goes back and gets a thing of ale. Meanwhile, back down in the hole. For anyone, let's remove Jurgen here. Not there anymore, is he? Nope. Victor sort of pokes his head around. Hello, friends? Hello?
So Zygmunt will kind of work his way up from around the adder.
Elena's still sticking her finger in her ear, going, "What?"
Rita's increasingly violently smacking her hand away.
That's impressive because Rita's all the way by Berthold.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh god, I thought that other pug was Elena. I'm like, we're just hanging out here.
Elena's the one
Oh.
that's slightly tilted.
Rita's just
Of
reaching
course she
her
is.
long, super long, creepy arm over to me and slapping me.
Hey man,
Rose Gold, go
I
back
was
to
gonna say
your game.
Rose Gold is in that other game.
I need you to just stop judging me. I am feeling super attacked right now, and
Okay.
also I'm gonna tickle you from all the way over here.
Anyway, Victor just kind of walks around the corner and kind of carefully steps over the bones of the Aderjaegers in the scorch mark on the ground and looks. This is an adder? This doesn't look like an adder.
Hits like one.
What? I agree.
And Victor kind of looks back and kind of nods in agreement because he's not sure how to respond to that. And walks up to the body and kind of pokes it. And the body kind of sloshes just a little bit to his touch because there seems to be fluid between the skin and the thing.
Zygmunt kind
This
of
is
be careful. This thing is the blood is acidic.
yes, the calcinite and adder blood. It blew up my lab in testing, but this is skin. Interesting. Is this? Do you mind if I make an incision?
So Zygmunt kind of reaches into his belt and hands the guy a knife.
He kind of takes the knife and he at first you can see he's not really super skilled with a knife, and so he kind of tries to cut it like you'd cut at a steak, but it really doesn't get it, so he kind of just gets frustrated and just stabs the whole blade into the side and kind of saws his way down, which is really overkill for what he's trying to do.
Zygmunt kind of winces at that.
But once he kind of gets about a 4 or 5 inch incision open, you can see two things. One, more of this fluid starts sort of flowing out, which means it seems to have kind of insulated its body with this green, sort of contaminated adder blood. It seemed to pool up between the outer muscle fibers and the skin. And the skin itself also seems to be kind of like a... imagine not quite a blubbery material, but kind of a imagine you know how lambskin is really soft because it's really thin. This is really soft but relatively thick. In fact, it's about an inch and a half thick and very heavy. It seems so as soon as he cuts it and the support is gone, the incision sort of pulls itself open a bit. And as the fire comes up, it actually starts sort of, it almost seems like it liquefies the inner layer of the skin and begins resealing the hole. And Victor just kind of giggles to himself as he kind of watches and then cuts it again and watches it reseal as this little burst of smoke and flame. It's amazing. This kind of seal is, I've never seen anything like this. Are all adders like this?
None.
Elena kind of walks over after, like, glancing kind of across from the cannon and is like, "What's he doing?" And walks over to see. So she's just kind of... Yeah, go ahead.
No, okay. So you go ahead, sorry.
No, I was done.
Okay. Victor kind of takes out what looks like just like a tiny, like a little child's abacus and starts sort of moving things around, and he kind of tilts his head and he looks down by the tail, and when he first picked up to it, says, "Can I have the skin?"
Elena,
Maybe some of it. I'd like to take some for ourselves.
Well, you should have about 628 square feet, give or take.
I think our
Excuse me?
NPC is metagaming.
And Brita's hand just kind of goes up a little bit. How do you figure?
Well, dimensionally, it's the tube, roughly. I'm kind of good with tubes.
Kinky.
The GM is incapable of metagaming. Just pointing that out.
Can an NPC metagame?
No.
Technically, the GM's job is to metagame.
I'm gonna explain here. This is math. You can't metagame math. I'm not saying it has exactly this much skin. I just happen to know the dimensions and what a tube is.
So Zygmunt will actually kind of take the knife from Victor and just cut off like a small square for himself to kind of play around with in his hand.
It is surprising.
And then hand it back to Victor.
It is not squishy, like you'd expect. It's very dense. Like it's not like slimy like you'd expect it to be, but it kind of has sort of a fluidity to it. But as soon as you like sort of smack at it, it seems to harden slightly. It's almost like there are a bunch of these little fluid-filled sacs within it, and it bounces a little bit. But the outer side just feels like lambskin.
Is it
Like
kind of
like the middle layer is basically just these fluid-filled.
Yeah, it's like a jelly. Feels like jelly, but much more
like
soft.
an impact-absorbing material.
Yes. Kind of like a non-Newtonian fluid contained within.
That's what I was going to go with.
That was what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Elena pokes the side of the body.
It sloshes.
She giggles.
So this could, Zygmunt kind of is just kind of playing around, like kind of squeezing the skin in the palm of his hand. This could significantly improve our armor's capability. It's a little weighty, and he kind of like hefts it in his hand.
He kind of looks. He looks over at your little square and kind of pokes at it. And while you all are standing there looking at that, there's sort of this hissing noise next to you as the blood seems to react with the skin. And though it doesn't seal off the wound, you can see it's like caused the inner layer to sort of slough and run together, sort of making it a much smaller entry despite having a several square inch section of skin cut away. Looks like something in time could probably, like, if given enough time, it probably could completely repair such a significant incision.
Elena keeps poking this thing and is kind of yelling because she still can't hear. This stuff is really cool.
Victor sticks a finger in his ear because you're right next to him when that
It's
happened.
like-
And
Zygmunt kind of looks over to Peter. Can you do
Yeah.
something about her hearing?
It should go back to normal with time. I can't.
circumstance roll.
I can fashion a gag. Would you like me to fashion a gag?
What?
No, that's
I might do it anyways.
What?
Zygmunt
Yeah,
just
I'm
kind of
gonna do that
looks to
now.
Elena and does like one of those like quiet down motions with his hands. Just keep it down.
Okay.
Victor walks around to the other side of the body where there's the rather large trough of impact where the projectile had cut through one side and sort of gently steps over the pooling small burning puddles. Yes, this is interesting. It seems like it controlled the absorption. See, I just directly mixed it and it seemed to be rather violently reacting. This is much more refined. I think I could duplicate this with time. No one really uses those chelacathium crystals anyway. They're really just used for finding the source of ore.
Do you mean the thing's ability to breathe fire?
Well, the ability for the blood to burn. See, normally, adder blood doesn't burn. Kind of one of its advantages. It's fairly safe even under high pressure. But this is... And he kind of pulls a, like... kind of like a... I wouldn't call it a poking stick, but for the sake of description, that's the only thing that's coming to mind. It's sort of a small stick used for collecting samples. And he kind of sticks it down in the blood. It's thicker. It's thicker than typical adder blood. I wonder what that's for. So, what do you mean breathe fire? Like it produced this fluid? This is
So-
not just its bodily fluid?
So Zygmunt just kind of gestures towards the burnt up Aderjaeger behind them.
Victor seemed like he had completely forgotten about. Oh, so that wasn't you or them. I imagine Aderjaegers blow themselves up occasionally. I probably would.
Some kind of green flame.
Green. Well, that would make sense. The copper sulfate. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That should burn with a bright green flame. Does that sound correct? Bright green?
Zygmunt just kind of cocks an eyebrow, like that's not his specialty.
Okay. So is it officially an adder or is it a shard beast? Did you find shards or
say,
is there
well-
a core?
There should be a core.
Where would the... And he kind of steps over the puddles and kind of climbs up on one of the walls and... Well, where do you think it is? And he crawls over to one of the eye sockets that's kind of been opened by the attacks and explosions and kind of sticks his head into the orifice. I don't see anything. Would it be in here?
It's not always in the head.
Oh.
Could I do like a roll from what?
Yes, you
like
sure can.
Using Adder anatomy to kind of figure out.
Victor's not an adder expert.
Right. Like so, based on what we, watched during the fight and everything. Clearly not in the tail since we kind of blew that off.
Yep.
It was still functioning. But that would probably be a melancholic.
Yes.
I only get a +1 harm when using Adder anatomy, so yeah.
You can kind of guess by the way the body's shaped, since it seems to be a softer bodied form. It's probably more in the upper chest region, where it's widest, just behind the first set of legs. Roughly. I mean, that's a big area to dig through, but it does narrow it down significantly. You know it's not in the tail because you blew the tail off. So,
And Zygmunt had caused several explosions on its back legs.
Mm-hmm.
So Zygmunt will kind of walk over, kind of, more or less where a heart would be, and just kind of jabs his knife towards it somewhere in this direction.
All right, give me a circumstance check. To see if you hit it directly or not yet.
Oh, fuck it.
It just digs, it goes straight in. There's no rib cage, so it just sort of slops in, kind of like cutting into a dead whale. It's obviously not within whatever the length of your dagger's length is.
Probably for the best. I don't want to accidentally poke the thing and then cause it to explode. But we'll let the Collections Guild help with.
Oh. Well, as long as I don't have to deal with the Engineering Guild. Apparently they don't want me to come back. Apparently I may have caused irreparable damage to the core systems here, and well,
The core systems, like the one that's allowing us to breathe?
Yes, it burned up a few hours ago. I guess I probably should have told you.
What?
All right.
No, fans. There should be enough air volume in here for at least, and he kind of pulls out his little mini abacus again. 2.5 hours.
Does that
That
account
was
for
from when the core went down. Should be good for at least 15 minutes. It's a big mine.
Elena can't hear.
we should head up for some fresh air
I agree.
and maybe try to fix the system because we're gonna have a lot of people coming down here soon.
Well, the core kind of shattered. So I don't think I can fix it anymore. See, when the lab exploded, it started burning the structure, and the structure heated the pipes, which increased the back pressure on the system, which caused the core to explode. I admit I hadn't thought about that, but to be fair, where I come from, they actually build pressure release valves between the valve and the main system dump. They did not do that here. They didn't know that.
Elena is kind of thinking, when you say core, do you mean an adder core?
Yes, adder core. All such pressure systems use adder cores or shards in some sense.
Do we know if this fluid hurts people? Like, I can't remember if that was established in the previous thing.
Is actually somewhat acidic.
I think you cut out the first part of whatever you just said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my computer blinked at me weirdly. It is both acidic and it happens to be pyrophoric.
What's that second word mean? I'm sorry.
Catches
Burns
fire
in
with
contact with air.
Oh, okay, so they can't cut it open to pull out the core.
Oh no, you can cut it open. You just are running the risk of getting injured in the process. Now, it's not violently pyrophoric. It just happens to burn in contact with oxygen.
It's a good thing we're running low on it then.
In a sense, yes.
Shit. Fuck. Elena's not saying these things that
The
way.
pet.
If so, it'd be more like, fuck!
I mean, you certainly could.
Okay,
have her
Zygmunt's
say those
going-
things.
Zygmunt's going to grab Victor and by the arm and kind of lead him away. Is there any way you can rig up a personalized oxygen system using the shards from the core?
Oh, yes, that should be possible, but it will take time to construct.
How much time?
Well, how much oxygen do you need?
Depends on how many members of the collection guild we have coming, I suppose.
No, how long do they need to breathe?
So Zygmunt kind of pauses and looks up. How long can you get me?
He kind of pulls out an abacus and starts doing math.
Where were you keeping that?
It's my travel abacus. It's very handy. And he kind of hands
Okay.
it to her.
No, I think you need it more than I do right now.
I like to imagine it's like a watch.
No,
One of the
it is,
calculator
it
watches.
is roughly 4 by 4 inches
oh God!
with little
See,
glass
I
beads
had-
on it.
I had in my head pictured like those ones in daycare where they're
Yes.
like a foot long, and I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
This is a little travel abacus, and it's got probably 3 dozen different colored like clay beads attached on little metal rods. So they're very tiny little beads, but allows him to do pretty high level math very quickly. And he kind of goes, I can get you with what I have at hand, and he sort of runs his hands through his hair. 15 minutes, roughly. Otherwise, we're going to run into pressure issues. And
So
to
they'll
be
just
fair,
they'll have to come back every 15 minutes. Is that?
yes, unfortunately I don't have. I didn't bring a large number of pressure vessels with me this time.
How many do you have?
8.
Well, we'll work in shifts.
Well, we might be able to get the system going again. The blowing apparatus is still there. It's power that it really needs. Suppose I could hook the core system in my cart up to it.
You have a core system?
Oh, yes, we need it for pressure testing vessels. The big metal cart, you didn't see it on the way in?
That seems like a much simpler option. Let's go with that.
Well, occasionally we will go to towns that don't have core systems. They're running on temporary shard-based units, and, well, you can't really replace a whole system and shut it down without keeping the pressure up. Otherwise, you get all sorts of nasty side effects.
Maybe
Or
we should.
Sometimes you need to attach it to the system and let the pressure go. And then, if the pressure is too high for the system,
Victor,
you just get
Victor.
adder blood all over the system.
oh.
Yes, sorry.
Maybe we should, like you said, take advantage of the lack of oxygen down here. And
Yes, it will
rig up a
probably keep it from burning.
rig up a couple of personal systems for the Collectors Guild to harvest the core, and then we can turn the blowers back on.
Okay. What are you gonna do with the blood?
Zygmunt kind of looks at it. Well, kind of cocks his head to the side. Probably sell it.
But who would want blood like that? What good is it? You can't sell it to a town because it wouldn't run any of their core systems without, I imagine, exploding.
Elena shrugs and just goes, I
What?
I don't-
That
Alright.
was out of character question.
don't know. Elena shrugs and yells, I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to make it sound like I was yelling without actually yelling because Liam keeps looking over at me like, are you actually deaf? Is something wrong?
Well, Victor, what would you do with this? Could we use it as a weapon of sorts?
Well, Well, I mean, anything used improperly can be a weapon. I have a high-pressure system testing rig that if you put a bolt in one end can actually shoot through the side of my cart. It's actually a lot of fun, but they took it away from me because apparently it's very expensive to fix those holes. Kind of miss that thing. Anyway, yeah, there's probably something we can do. Would you like it to shoot flame? Or I'm getting a little dizzy down here. Maybe we could continue this conversation up top.
Yes, let's. And Zygmunt will go to fetch Berthold, and then they will make their way up before they pass out.
Circumstance check. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
I guess we hang out for a day.
Nice.
Outside, the sun is still shining because you were only down there for a little bit of time. But let's head over to Jurgen. So, Jurgen, you are by yourself.
Yes.
You have no guards with you.
Ah, crap.
You have no porters with you, and you took a single horse.
She's so fucking flustered. Are you alright, hon?
Quick, Brita, heal me. I have a sudden desire to go check on Jurgen.
Can I get whatever would pass as an awareness check for you?
Also, can I actually do healing on the people back where we are?
Yes, you certainly can.
I get healed,
Well,
bitch!
Zygmunt, yeah.
Did Elena...
Who is doing the awareness check?
That would be Jurgen, because Jurgen's by himself.
Fuck.
All right. I mean,
Focus, that's a naughty word.
Not the word that a man of God uses. It's God fuck you. That's the word a man of God uses.
Put a quarter in this swear sock, and soon you'll have a weapon to beat your kids with.
What?
What?
Oh my God.
Guys, I warned you, everyone watching. It's gonna be one of those nights. I'm
Jesus
sorry,
Christ, Darby.
I assumed
No.
people knew that meme.
That's
She's
the
on
first
it.
I've heard of it, and that is awful.
Oh my God.
She's on to something there. You give them a spanking with the swear sock.
Every time you're angry at your kids and you yell at them, put a quarter in the swear sock, and soon you'll have a weapon to beat them with.
Darby, I think we need to have a discussion about you dating Locust because it's clearly a really bad influence on you.
I mean,
wow.
Problems
Just throw me under the bus.
Oh, don't even dare, Locust. I know better.
So,
I am innocent here.
So, Jurgen was killed on the side of a road because he didn't take anybody with him. So was Darby for beating up kids.
Whoa! I'm in a cave! I know that Elena can be a bit childish sometimes, but that's just rude, Jay.
Oh my God.
Anyway, as you're going through the forest, you actually hear the sound of horses ahead of you, and they stop suddenly. So there's sort of a clop, 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 and then
a stop.
no, just nothing.
Are you kidding?
If you listen, there's no sound of crickets or birds.
Oh fuck.
No.
I cast magic missile at the darkness.
Attacks you while you go to a cabin for.
So I've been informed that our DoorDash delivery guy was dressed as a taco and just delivered my food.
That's great.
That's dedication.
I did not order tacos.
Well, that's disappointing then.
But you got a taco. He came right to the door.
Austrian death taco. Anyway.
Oh God.
Bring it back around right into the tabletop memes.
Jurgen, who's probably been going at the full sprint on the horse for right now, is actually going to slow down as he starts to realize that it's getting quiet and take a moment to listen and see if he hears anything other than, just the birds chirping
You can kind of hear the sound of a horse moving on a stone trail. Not galloping or trotting, just kind of turning, like as if someone is readjusting themselves on the trail up ahead. Just out of sight.
Well, Jurgen's going to slowly work the horse up the trail so he can get an eye on what's in the road.
As you kind of round a corner, you notice there are two figures on horses wearing black on the road ahead of you.
Oh no.
Damn it.
They don't
Here
call out
come
to
the
you
man in
or
black.
seem to make any sort of hailing motion towards you. They just sort of seem to stand there, one to each side of the road, facing you.
Jurgen's gonna see if he can just pass by them.
It's a nice little tip of the cap. Good day.
Yeah, just a nod of the head and God be with ye.
As you sort of approach sooner, one of them seems to pull their cloaks back. And there's sort of a bright flash from underneath. It's not a weapon. At least that's not what flashes. It's a color you weren't expecting. It's gold. There's obviously a gold lining to this black cloak.
It's the Order of St. Michael.
And as you kind of get closer, you can see the sort of, though hidden by the hoods over their heads, you can see the two brass pierced masks that cover their faces. They don't seem to acknowledge you or say, or welcome you or any in a way respond to you. As you sort of walk by, they sort of stay still until you're past them, and then they seem to turn to follow you.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and kick this horse into high gear.
Okay, give me a horse-related action roll.
Horse accounting, but
Horse
fast.
Scouting would not be appropriate.
Horse.
I do actually
Horse
have a move
accounting.
called horse accounting.
Okay,
But
that's
faster.
not quite the same thing.
Yeah, it's
It's
not.
accounting for other horses' speed.
Yeah,
Roll
you're
it
able
really
to calculate
hard.
how fast they're going, but
Can I roll horse god?
no.
No.
There. You're picking earwax out of your ear in a cave.
But I'm the horse god.
But
I
you're
am
not
omnipotent.
that kind of horse guy.
I like how this is implying that Elena is a horse.
I'm
Oh
okay with
my
that.
god.
Yeah,
Nay.
Jurgen is riding Elena all the way into town.
Anyways, Jurgen-
Aww.
Jurgen is rolling choleric for his horse stuff because he's not particularly concerned about being nice to the horse. He
So
is
he has
Man of
whipped his
God.
horse
yes,
literally to town.
he is whipping the horse to
Alright.
town.
Though
Fucking man of God.
there is definitely they definitely try to keep up with you, but after a while you are able to pull away. They're obviously not willing to push their horses to the same limit you are.
Oh, that's gonna make the trip back suck though. Well, after Jurgen does pull away from them, he will, once he's gotten what he feels is a good lead, he will stop beating the shit out of the horse.
Okay. Roll me a circumstance roll too, just for related to horse condition.
There we
Got it.
go.
Okay.
That
so
horse does
I'm
not
gonna
like
say-
you beating him.
you are able to make it to town in about 3 hours.
Jesus.
So you really seriously covered a lot of ground very quickly. You basically cut the trip in half from a regular, I wouldn't call it a forced march so much as a consistent, overland trot. I guess canter, Darby,
Trot.
trot.
Canter,
Okay.
canter would probably be a bit taxing to do for that entire time. It would be a trot. Would be the best, the most common
Right
thing.
for them.
Trot. Trot is the word you're looking for.
Okay, cool. That's actually exactly what I needed to know. So, you're able to make it down about 3 hours. The sun is still up. It's probably about 5 or 6 in the afternoon, if I had to guess. Sun will be up for probably 2 or more hours. What do you plan to do now that you've made it back to Stuttgart?
First off, Jurgen's going to stable the horse and get it some food and water, since he may not care that much about it. I mean, he did beat the crap out of it, but he knows that he doesn't want to kill the animal.
Well, the horse has open sores on its haunches from your whipping at it. and it just sort of dives its head into the water.
Okay, then we're gonna go. He's gonna leave it stabled. I assume where they had stabled previously at the inn. I would guess.
That's definitely something doable, yeah.
Yeah. Then he's gonna go ahead and head up to the Engineers Guild as quick as he can on foot.
The Engineers Guild, or the Collectors
No,
Guild.
Collectors Guild. Sorry. Yes,
Okay.
Collectors Guild.
You can go talk to the Engineering Guild, but
Well,
the
that would have been.
Collectors Guild. Sorry.
Well, that would be really smart if I knew that our air filtration system wasn't working, but kind of wasn't there for that conversation. Oops.
Well, you know, they would have probably said, "Well, we already have a service technician out there."
Yeah.
Too real.
Oh no. And then just pan back to everyone else back at the cave who's just sitting outside of it going, so the window was, let me get this straight, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.? That's when they're going to be here? Are you kidding?
Oh my god.
Victor's just
Like,
sitting in his
surreal.
cart right there. Doesn't.
So
go
Zigman goes up to go to the bathroom, and then Victor shows up, and then immediately leaves.
The guild is just rebranding to Comcast entirely.
No, it's Spectrum. It's Spectrum. Just kidding. Anyway, as you sort of approach the Collectors Guild, there's there's several guards outside. And they seem to be mostly just talking back and forth. And as you approach, they sort of stop you and say, "What do you need?"
We've downed an adder in a mine in whatever the hell that mine is called, north of town. We need the services of the Collections Guild.
No problem. Just go on inside and set up a contract.
Jurgen nods and would head on inside.
Do we send Jurgen off with some money?
Uh,
Okay.
Last
He's
I heard,
like-
Jurgen has the money. Well, no, it's all in a lockbox on the.
yeah, it's on the cart at the mine.
So Jurgen has about 100 gold with.
Yeah, just about.
Oh. You left a bit too quickly there, love.
Yeah, I might have been a little hasty.
Anyway, as you walk in, there's a man sitting behind the counter and says, "Hello, name?"
Jurgen Ruttes Wolfson.
No. Organization's name.
Ah, sorry. Gutta Damerung.
Got to Damerung. And he opens the
Oh
book,
no.
big old book, pulls it over and flips the page and sort of, "God damn it." And he stops and he looks up. And he looks down at the name. "Are you sure?"
I am certain. Why?
And he slams the book. "No reason. How can I help you today?"
Jurgen sighs heavily. We've downed an adder in whatever the hell that mine is north of town. That's not
Yes, I
actually
heard
what.
about that contract.
Stuttgartian Death Cave.
Yeah, Stuttgarten.
Oh my god, really? Fuck you guys, I'm going.
Yeah, the place where you fought is just colloquial name known as the Schnitzel Oven. It's a deep underground cavern.
That's why we need the air masks.
It's filled with fire.
Oh god. But yes, we've managed to down the adder. We were looking to enlist the help of this Collections Guild.
Absolutely. What are the sizes of the beast?
Small, no more than 20 foot long.
20 foot. All right.
I am getting that right, Jay.
Yes.
Okay.
You're getting that correct. No, you're metagaming by knowing the dimensions.
No, I just remember what. God damn it! I'm metagaming for math.
You thought I was being serious. Okay. So he kind of looks up and goes, "All right. Let's see here. 20 feet cost. All right. That will be 30,000.
That's an obscene amount, right?
You paid 42 for Schnurkles.
Oh, okay.
So it is definitely high. Obscene's an interesting word.
Okay.
Anything for our flaily boy.
Jurgen's just gonna nod and say, "That's acceptable. We have the funds on site. They're up at the mine. I don't have them with me at the moment."
It says here, and he kind of pulls the other book out and flips it open. It says here I'm supposed to get payment up front, though.
I can pay you before the work begins, but unfortunately, as I said, the chest with the funds is on the site.
He kind of nods. Yeah, I suppose that sounds reasonable. I can't expect you to slug your butt all the way back here and have all that money on you by yourself. You came by yourself? You know, there's bandits on that road.
And worse. But, no, I made good time. That being said, you may want to bring some of your specialized equipment. The Adder's blood seem caustic. I wouldn't want your men getting hurt. Yes.
Well, you know, there is, of course, a upcharge for hazardous conditions.
I figured there might be. How much will that be?
Well, I really don't know. Caustic blood that's a new one. Spikes hanging over a ravine on the side of a mountain. Those are all fairly standard hazard charges. More hazardous working environment.
Well,
Acidic blood. No, sir, that's a new one. That's definitely a new one. Usually it's 1,000 per additional hour of work. But I'm not sure what the foreman will charge once he's on site. That's corrosive, you say?
Slightly. It doesn't seem... It hasn't eaten through, and he kind of, with a thumb, just kind of flashes the axe, not really,
Right.
Just trying to show that it's not heavily damaged, but, yeah.
Corrosive. Alright, how many... It's a small area, you said? The mine?
It is a small area, it's inside the mine, and for heavy equipment you wouldn't have to worry about plate.
No plate?
No plate. The Adder had no plate.
The guy kind of holds up a finger as if to say 1 second, and he kind of walks around a corner into the office. You can kind of hear the sounds of whispering back and forth and thing. And there's just sort of, the only word that comes back just loud is, no plate? Whisper, whisper, whisper. What do you mean? Whisper, whisper, whisper. Corrosive? Whisper, whisper, whisper. And the guy comes back out. Yeah, this is a new one for us. You looking to sell all of it, or are you just looking to collect it?
We're looking to collect it at the moment. We may take it to market afterwards, but as of yet, we're simply looking to have the beast collected.
Okay. All right. So, all right, we'll be there tomorrow morning. Can't get the carts out too much quicker. They don't move that quick down the road. You'll have someone there waiting for us?
Absolutely. We have people on site, and if I don't beat you there, I will meet you there shortly.
All right, just make sure the payment's ready, and the foreman will let you know whatever the hazard charge is once he gets a view of the item.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't mess around with him. He's apparently a pretty tough guy. He's the one that's recommended for your account.
Excellent. And you said you'll be leaving at morning? I may move with your group. That way.
No, we'll be leaving tonight, but we probably won't be there till morning.
I understand.
We've got the guards, and few people are willing to interfere with the Collectors Guild, as you understand.
Of course. How long will it be before you leave?
It's gonna be 2 or 3 hours now. It'll probably be about 9 p.m. He kind of looks at a clock on the wall. About 9 p.m.
Jurgen looks at the same clock. Well, don't tell your men to wait for me, but I'm probably going to see if I can buy another a horse. I made good time here, but ran my horse a little bit ragged. I'm going to see if I can get another and simply walk with your convoy back to the site. Safety in numbers and all that.
Well, all right, but unless you're willing to pay for a seat, you will indeed be walking.
My feet are accustomed to the long road.
All right. I would get some rest while you get a chance, because we're not stopping till morning.
Of course. I'll see your men on the way out.
Okay. Anything else you want to do in Stuttgart before you prepare for your walk?
How much is a horse on average?
250 Reichsgold.
Shit, I only have 100 on me, and that's
Horses
more.
are valuable pieces of
Yeah.
equipment.
Well, then Jurgen's walking, because he's just going to leave the injured horse stabled for now. He's not going to take it out, so he'll just walk with the caravan. Am I going to have to roll if I say he grabs a couple of hours of shut-eye?
No.
Okay, then he's probably going to try
I
and
imagine,
grab...
especially if you go back to the inn, someone could come get you before it was time.
Okay, then yeah, Jurgen is just basically going to grab the briefest nap he can before he would move out with the convoy.
Okay, back to camp. Or the mine, more specifically. So, Victor has kind of invited you all into what he has converted into what almost looks somewhat like a mobile home. He has a metallic cart, relatively new, that seems to have two awnings attached to either side that expand out to sort of create an almost covered sort of laboratory space. And little steps up the back to a door. Unlike the Collectors Guild carts, which are open top so that they can fit taller items inside it, this one's entirely enclosed. It's almost like a little armored, entirely armored enclosed house or cart. And inside he's begun kind of assembling brazing pipes together, adding valves, those kind of things. He occasionally will kind of stop and come out and talk to occasionally will come out and sort of talk to Zygmunt and sort of show off the work that he's doing. He's basically converting a piece of pipe to a pressure vessel.
So Zygmunt is
So he's
keeping
got
as
stoppers and
like if he's
brazing.
anywhere near the cart, he's keeping the door open at all times, so he has a quick exit.
And he hasn't started pressurizing anything yet, but he's working with a fairly intense flame, and he's kind of running brass solder around things and putting it all together and adding valves, and there's sort of a complex like lever-based locking system on it, and he kind of brings it up to you. Now, the one problem I have, do you happen to have any like masks?
Masks.
Yes, something that would cover at least the lower face portion.
Zygmunt kind of turns. Brita, Helena, do we have masks?
We have cloth. I can help fashion it into some sort of handkerchief, but I don't believe we have an actual mask.
No, it needs to be able to form a seal around the mouth.
A seal around the mouth.
No.
Solid.
Elena shakes her head.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah, she would just kind of look at the armor everyone has and be like, I don't know how well it would work, but when you say a seal around the mouth, is it okay if that is made out of fabric, or is that too breathable?
No, it needs to be something relatively airtight. Maybe not 100%, but I have to hook this hose up to it. And he pulls out sort of a leather hose covered in some kind of like pitch.
I mean, we have leather.
We
can
do
get
have
pitch.
leather. I was just thinking that. Well, shit. Now I gotta think of
Well,
where they would get a reliable cut of leather, because they're not really carrying. Like,
Cut a horse.
no.
We have Elisa's
can-
game that we just.
What?
you have
If
deerskin.
you're gonna cut a horse.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. We do have deer skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not tanned deerskin, though.
It's okay. It's less breathable than fabric.
True.
Which you're just gonna smell like death for a little bit. It's fine.
Well, can you make them look like this? And he pulls out sort of a leather hood that has two little glass lenses attached to it. They use it for fighting fires in core areas. It doesn't have an oxygen system, but I think I can hook one up.
I sure can try. I think I'm still pretty handy with a sewing needle.
Do we have any glass lenses?
Oh, I do. And he goes back in the cart and kind of pulls them out. Yes,
So what
I
do-
use them for magnifying things.
So what do I have to roll to fucking, like, Joanne's craft supply the shit out of this?
Well, that is definitely one way to describe it.
Please be melancholic.
I would actually say
I-
phlegmatic.
I was going to say that maybe
Uh,
phlegmatic.
But it's less of, like, the skill and the grace of putting it all together as it is to just, like, do the engineering side of it at this point. Because they don't have to, like, look fancy or anything, right?
They certainly don't have to look fancy. They just have to be, safe to use, which I guess since you're cutting it off a deer is going to be a little questionable to begin with. So, okay. The one thing I will tell you, if you roll melancholic, you'll immediately know it's not the best choice to use just fresh deer skin on the carcass.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like she's a little bit smarter than I am and would probably know that.
Yeah. Just like fresh, it begins to rot if it's not tan. That's what the problem is, especially if it stays wet.
We've got horse saddles, don't we? Like, how much do we care about them?
They're fairly expensive.
I mean, did we have any extra horse saddles from all those horses we horse wrangled?
Yeah, you probably have some extra horse saddles. But I mean, they're currently attached to extra horses.
Yeah, but we're not riding every single horse. We have more horses than we have riders, correct?
You sure do.
Well then let's fuck
how
with the
nice
extra
you're
saddles.
being to your guards.
You know what? Let's fuck up
Elena,
the
we need your
extra
pants.
saddles.
I mean,
oh my god!
What the fuck?
Oh my god!
oh my Jesus.
Yay!
The technical difficulties.
Stop talking, Jay!
You're just static, man.
Christ! Oh, that
Ow,
was
wow.
Lucas?
No, that was not.
Jay.
That was.
That was all Jay.
Yeah, I dropped out real quick because I am still streaming, but I don't know what the hell that was.
That was bizarre. It stopped the second you left the channel. That's why I thought it was.
No,
Well,
he
he hasn't left.
himself.
He just muted
Oh,
himself.
he muted. Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
guessing
that's
maybe
fucking
like a
bizarre.
microphone got slightly unplugged.
Something
That's
like
kind of what it sounded like. Either that or like his daughter came up and was just blowing into the
It's like,
microphone as
yeah.
hard as she could.
She has like circular breathing because that was really impressive.
And now we wait.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how much is Jurgen gonna get yelled at for beating a horse?
Well, we won't know
I
until
mean, we don't
you
know.
get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like technically we could just be ignorance is bliss about it. And really, at the end of the day, the way it looks from my corner is Brita doesn't poke that bear.
So who's looking forward to exploding the first time we use our adder flamethrower?
We could also like make like adder grenades.
Can we make some fireproof pants before Elena uses that?
No.
But
Actually, wait a second. We've got that adder skin was fireproof. I don't know how comfortable we'd have for pants.
Shit.
Well, it kind of like melted. By like
Yeah.
fuse.
I want to
think
make
it might have
pants out
been
of these.
fire resistant. I'm not sure it was fireproof.
Yeah, but it melted because of the blood, didn't it? Not so much the fire. I don't know.
Here he goes.
Uh-oh. Issues on issues.
That's not good. I hope it comes up soon.
Yeah. So how do we vamp for time? Let's let's get competing.
Yeah, competing elevator music.
Let's all just sing happy birthday like half a second apart, so it becomes this horrifying melange.
Happy birthday.
No, Kayla, that was
No,
not
that
actually an
that was-
invitation.
that was a joke. Jesus Christ. I do at some point though need to find a video back when I did the competitive gaming thing. It was like the birthday of our clan leader. So we got everybody who was online in the time.
Please don't call them clan leaders.
No,
Please.
No, you
clan with a C, not with a K. Anyways, but we got everybody who was online at the time in one TeamSpeak channel, and everybody sang happy birthday, and it was the most horrifying noise I've ever heard. Hello, Angie.
Also muted.
It's probably actually Jay
Yeah.
pretending to be Angie.
Or is it?
Dun dun dun.
Well, I'll find out here.
On the
Right
next
about
episode,
No.
Dragon Ball
Oh,
Z.
Jay, it's not working.
Oh, I can hear
No,
Angie.
no, now we can
I
hear
can
you,
hear
Angie.
Angie.
Give my husband 1 minute, please. He is working on it.
Okay.
We figured.
And unfortunately, my phone kind of sucks at this.
I mean, we can hear you pretty well.
Yeah, phones are not great for Discord.
All right, hello.
Hooray!
Yay! You sound fine.
Okay, I don't know what the hell happened.
That was terrifying.
You
You
angered
just
the Discord
literally
gods.
said that it started hissing, so I went to check things, but then my mouse immediately died.
Oh
My
god,
keyboard went blank. I couldn't do anything, and my connection died instantly.
that's wow.
I had the equivalent of a software catastrophic failure.
I made a
have
bad
no idea
joke
what
and I
happened.
killed the GM's computer. That's what happened.
That's kind of what it sounds like, actually.
So I don't know what happened there. I'm terribly sorry. Everything is closed, so give me just a second.
Just bad Tyler. Bad Tyler. Don't make jokes.
Okay.
That's not Tyler's fault. I don't know what the hell happened. Windows 10 or the drivers for my keyboard just decided, you know what? Screw this guy in particular.
Maybe just
Well,
overwhelming use of.
Ah!
Oh god. Not
Why
again.
don't you do it again?
I didn't do it. Hello?
don't
Yeah, you're
breathe
fine.
into
Yeah.
the mic. It's fine. Yeah.
I'm not breathing into the. Okay, if you knew my mic setup, it would be impossible for me to breathe into my mic.
We are getting just a touch of static.
I
Mhm.
don't know why you're getting.
Oh my god!
So weird. That is the weirdest thing.
I don't know why you're getting.
Well, that was terrifying.
All right, I think it's time we call the stream there.
Okay.
I just want to cut all of this off the end of the thing.
Next time on Aderjaeger.
Okay, so
I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, folks.
It's okay. Over the next week, I should be able to figure out what the fuck to get leather from in the immediate area.
Yeah.
Let's see just how stupid I actually am about that.
I think all of the drivers for my keyboard completely reset, and my keyboard is also my USB hub.
Oh.
oh,
So I think when it went down and tried to reboot itself, all the audio just went to hell.
So
So,
now,
was-
both in character and out of character, I can go, what?
Sorry. I
All right.
honestly didn't think that would ever happen. It just,
It was a very strange onset.
yeah, I was not expecting. You just started screaming, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? And I noticed my light on my mic had gone off, and then my mouse just wouldn't move, and
So it was great
let's
for
say
like an hour
goodnight
and
to
a half,
everybody.
and then it just went to hell.
Yeah.
Good
Good
night.
night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Sorry for the
Good
technical
night.
difficulties.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I warned them when the stream started, so they should be okay.